Predicting the future is a hard thing to do in Dynasty fantasy football, but if done well, can win you a championship. Being able to foresee which players are going to have breakout seasons is vital to team success, especially when making moves in the offseason. The 2025 NFL season is here, and Week 1 is right upon us. It's time to make those last few moves before all the teams get into action on Sunday, and this video is going to help you do exactly that. We're going to go through which players are going to gain the most Dynasty value after Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. Right now they're at their lowest values, but when Week 1 hits, their Dynasty value is going to skyrocket because they're going to have amazing performances. There are a couple rookies on this list that are going to prove themselves very quickly right out of the gate, but also a couple of veterans that I think are going to surprise some people. We have 4 players here you should be trading for a Dynasty fantasy football right now before their value shoots up after Week 1. And some of the prices for these guys may be pretty steep, but I think you're going to be glad you traded even a haul of players and picks to get them. Let's go ahead and start off with our first player. This is running back TreVeyon Henderson of the New England Patriots. Henderson was selected in the second round of the 2025 NFL Draft out of Ohio State. There, he shared a backfield with fellow rookie Quinshon Judkins, who's now in the Cleveland Browns. In that duo, Henderson was kind of the lightning of the two. He's a very quick running back, capable of breaking off 50-yard touchdowns at any point in a game. He's a good receiving back as well and an amazing pass blocker. So overall, just as a prospect, he's an explosive play waiting to happen. When he gets in open space, he can make defenders miss and just take it to the house at any point. And as we look ahead to Week 1, he's facing Las Vegas. That's one of the weaker defenses in the entire NFL. Sure, they have Max Crosby, but they don't have a ton around him. And apart from Crosby, who's one of the best edge rushers in the league, I don't see a lot of defenders on this defense really posing a threat to Henderson having a good game. And remember, as rookies, we have no previous sample size for NFL experience for these players. And if he has a good Week 1 game, there's no past NFL data to suggest he won't do that for the rest of the season. Now, people may be worried about him because he was listed as the running back 3 on the team's initial depth chart. He was behind veterans Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson heading into Week 1. But I'm here to tell you, I think that listing was just a formality. Henderson is going to be the running back 1 this season. He already looks like the best running back on the team, and even if it starts in more of a split carry type thing, Henderson's big play and home run hitting ability is going to earn him that running back 1 spot. Plus, Ramondre Stevenson, the veteran running back already in this offense, had a rough year last year. He fumbled the ball a lot, wasn't very efficient, and there was a reason they drafted Henderson in the second round. I think that was to replace him. But if not to replace him, at least just bring in a new face in the backfield to get some spice in this offense. And it's not hard to imagine Henderson ripping off a 50-yard touchdown run and becoming one of the hottest names in football after Week 1. And again, the Raiders lost a lot of defensive starters this offseason. This defense is going to be a shell of itself. And while I don't think Henderson's going to be as productive as Ashton Jeanty, Amari Hampton, other rookie running backs in his rookie season, he absolutely has the talent and the opportunity to take that lead running back spot in 2025. Also, his PPR upside is really great. He was super involved in the passing game at Ohio State, like I said before, and he could be a really nice PPR running back to have on your Dynasty squad. And I can almost guarantee that if he's given the volume, the rushing attempts, the targets, whatever, he's going to have a massive performance in Week 1. I think Henderson's the future of this backfield. I think he was brought in to be a major help to Drake May. Obviously, May's a second-year quarterback who I think is going to break out this season. And he's going to be an outlet for him in the passing game, as well as a good runner. And if that rushing attack improves, it's going to take more pressure off of the passing attack. But overall, I'm a big fan of TreVeyon Henderson's game. I think he's going to be a very valuable Dynasty asset, especially after Week 1 when he has an elite performance. You should be trading for him now before his value absolutely skyrockets. I know it's going to cost a lot because the hype around him is already pretty high, but do what you can to get him before the 2025 NFL season starts. Next up, we have Tyler Warren, rookie tight end for the Indianapolis Colts, one of my favorite players in the entire draft class this year. He was my personal tight end 1. I think he's going to be elite for Dynasty for years to come, but let's talk about him this year. In this Colts offense, Daniel Jones, the veteran pickup out of free agency, was named the starter over former 4th overall pick Anthony Richardson. While I think that was the wrong decision personally as a Colts fan, it is fair to say that the passing game is more consistent. It's probably going to be safer overall with Jones under center. The passing attack is likely going to be more focused in the shorter and intermediate game than it would be if Richardson was the starter. Jones obviously doesn't have as strong of an arm as Anthony Richardson, but he can still put together a pretty solid season, I think. He has a good group of pass catchers around him, and that includes 14th overall pick Tyler Warren. Warren was selected with the 14th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft after a breakout season at Penn State. During his last collegiate season, he put up 104 receptions, 1,233 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. That shows how versatile he was as a weapon in college. I think that's going to translate perfectly to the NFL. You're going to see him line up all over the offense, even in the backfield at sometimes. And Shane Steichen, head coach of the Colts, is going to rely on him very heavily in year 1. But again, I think he's going to be used a ton in his rookie season. That tight end spot could be one that Daniel Jones relies on. And with Warren being such an elite athlete, so good after the catch, he could generate a ton of receiving yards in his rookie year. And like I said before, his dynasty stock is very high already, but I think it's going to get even higher after an elite performance against Miami's injured and lackluster defense. Miami lost several key pieces of their defensive backfield this offseason, including Jalen Ramsey, and several players got injured during camp as well. I think Warren is going to be amazing against the remnants of this Dolphins defense. I think he's going to have a great game. I think by the end of the season, he may be viewed as a top 3 dynasty tight end overall. We could look at him in preseason action as well. He looked really solid in limited action. He had 4 receptions for 65 yards, so I'd be surprised if he doesn't hit the ground running in week 1. The tight end position in fantasy is very volatile, so you want to have one of those top guys on your roster. And Tyler Warren, he's still a very young player. Having him in your dynasty squad is just an elite option. It doesn't matter where you have to trade to get him. You should absolutely add Tyler Warren no matter what it costs. Now, obviously, don't go and trade away Jamar Chase or anything, but be willing to give up a haul. Overall, I am all in on Tyler Warren in both redraft and dynasty leagues. I think he could have an overall tight end 1 finish in his future sometime. And he was my tight end 1 in this year's draft class. Very close with Colston Level there, who's now in the Bears, but I would give Warren the nod. His versatility and athleticism is just what sets him apart in my opinion. I think he's going to be elite. But again, if I haven't said it enough, expect an amazing week 1 performance in a very good matchup. Who knows, maybe he's even the Colts' leading receiver by the end of the year. Safe to say that Tyler Warren is one of my favorite dynasty assets across the board. Next up, we have Bryce Young, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. 2024 was a wild year for the now third-year quarterback. He was named the starter to open the season, benched, and then brought back after a few weeks, and his play really improved. We'll dive into that more later, but for now, we can see his rankings are very underrated. He's ranked on Fantasy Pros as the Dynasty Quarterback 22, which is a ridiculous ranking in my opinion, especially because he finished as a borderline top 20 quarterback last year when it was all said and done. But that combined with his age, I think should put him well inside the top 20. But for some reason, he continues to be undervalued, even in Dynasty, which is crazy to me. Bryce Young is still only 24 years old and heading into his 3rd year of NFL action. And the Panthers have added yet another first-round receiver. Last year, they drafted Xavier Legette out of South Carolina in the late first round, but this year they selected Tedero McMillan out of Arizona with the 8th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. McMillan was a very polarizing prospect, but I think his blend of size, athleticism, and yards after catch ability are going to make him a very successful NFL receiver. And at the very least, he's going to be a nice addition to this room for Bryce Young. Personally, I've not been able to grab Bryce Young in any dynasty startups this offseason, but he remains one of my favorite late-round quarterback options. Especially in Superflex leagues, I think he could develop into a really good quarterback 2 or even quarterback 1. But like I said before, his play improved significantly after his return from the bench. He even put up some rushing stats as well. He had 249 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. That's a very solid floor. But then looking at the passing as well, he had 15 touchdowns through the air. And he had some really special moments throughout the end of last season. A lot of that is to do with the play of his offensive line. It improved dramatically from 2023 to 2024. Last year, they had a pass block rate of 69.4, which is good enough for around an average spot in the league, which was a lot better than it was his rookie season. In 2023, Bryce Young took 62 sacks, but in 2024, he only took 29. That is a huge decrease. I think a lot of the improvement along the offensive line, including the new additions they brought in before 2024, was a big factor in Bryce Young's improvement in play. And you could see him, as games went on, contributing to winning for them. He improved a ton as an improviser, especially outside of the pocket, making throws on the run. He looked fantastic. And we saw his passing grade improve from 2023, where it was 53.0, to 2024, where it was a 75.1, which is a very solid grade from PFF. But I think Bryce Young, at his price, is a very low-risk quarterback to add to your roster. And we've seen him make some ridiculously impressive plays. He's not one of the top rushing quarterbacks in the league or anything, but he could definitely get you some points on the ground. And Bryce Young, I think he's going to improve even more this season and maybe enter into the top 15 quarterback conversation. Overall, I'm just very excited to see how this Panthers team overall plays, and especially Bryce Young. He's a great quarterback to add in Dynasty, and I think he could have a very solid Week 1 matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Finally, we have Marvin Harrison Jr., second-year wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. He was one of my favorite prospects in last year's draft coming out of Ohio State. He was unbelievably talented. He was viewed as one of the best receiver prospects we've seen in a long time, and I think he's going to make good on that this season. I mean, there were some plays you would see on his film back in his college days that was just ridiculous. As a route runner, he is just amazing. He's able to create separation, and his body control is also elite. He had some trouble in his first year. I think last year he was adjusting to NFL competition, but this year I think could be a breakout season for Harrison. I have total faith in the talent he presents, and he did have a solid rookie season. He has 62 receptions off of 116 targets for 885 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. He was a true threat in the red zone, as you could see with that touchdown number. And I think after another year to build chemistry, another offseason build chemistry with Kyler Murray, he could be even better, and the two could be on the same page more often this year. And I think there's a very good chance he puts up over 1,000 yards, barring an injury to himself or Murray. And in my opinion, his rookie year was over-scrutinized. Just because of his last name, people expected him to be this elite receiver right off the bat. I was one of those people, I'll admit. But I'm willing to give him another year to prove himself. He is such a talented receiver and just needs a chance to adjust to NFL competition. I think he's going to do that this year. And a top 15 wide receiver finish is definitely in play. And looking at some of the advanced stats, he was a very consistent player, only a 1.6% drop rate according to PFF, which is one of the top marks in the entire NFL. So if a pass is coming his way, if it's on target, he is catching it. He may not be my favorite target in redraft leagues, but in Dynasty leagues, I would love to trade for him. I think you'd trade for him now before he has what could be a breakout season in 2025, and that could start in week 1. Harrison's going to produce. It's just a matter of when, and with how talented he is, I have complete faith in him. Overall, these are 4 players he should be trading for in Dynasty leagues now, before week 1, before their Dynasty outlooks skyrocket. And even though their prices are steep, make sure to add them before the season starts. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below who you think is going to rise the most in Dynasty value after week 1. Don't forget to like and subscribe for Dynasty content like this all season. I'm Joe, and this is Dynasty Trading Room.